Hello everyone, welcome. Today's video is a makeup tutorial using a full face of MAC Cosmetics. MAC Cosmetics has sort of been back in the spotlight lately due to the re-release of many very popular lipstick shades of the 90s and early 2000s. Not only did they re-release those lipsticks in their newest formulas, they also came out with a lip liner shade extension. I've seen a lot of people raving about the new Cool Spice lip liner. I bought it and I too really like it, and I think I will be using it in today's video. What I've pulled together here is a combination of some of my new MAC favorites and mixing them in with some older, some might say iconic MAC products. So if you'd like to see how I achieve this, I think sort of classic 90s supermodel makeup look, then please keep on watching. Starting with complexion, the first product I'm using is the MAC Studio Fix Mattifying 12-Hour Shine Control Primer. I've actually had this product for a while. I use it off and on, and the reason I only use it off and on is because I'm constantly trying out new products, new primers, some from the drugstore, some from Sephora, and I try to show every product that I like a little love. So I don't use the same thing every day, or let's just say it's rare that I use the same products every single day, except for maybe foundation and concealer and powder. When it comes to those, I sort of go in little streaks. I'll use the same face routine for like a week, and then something new will come out. I'll try it, I'll switch things up. So I guess you could say that's just how it is when you are a beauty content creator. But I do think this is a very good product if you have oily skin like I do, or perhaps if you just get oily through the T-zone. This is an excellent shine control product. For foundation, I'm using the recently reformulated, I think it's been maybe a year now, Studio Fix Fluid. I know I did a dedicated video right after this was reformulated. I should check my old videos to see when that was. But anyway, I do really like the new formula of Studio Fix. I really liked the old formula too. It was a foundation that I would recommend to pretty much everyone who has oily skin. And even now, I would still recommend this as a top foundation for oily skin. I'm pretty confident that if you have dry skin, you would much prefer the Studio Radiance foundation from MAC. The shade I'm using is C4, and I will have all of the products listed and linked down below in the description box. I know I say that in every video, but I do have at least 3 or 4 people in my comments after I post a video asking me where they can find the links, because on mobile it can be a little bit more difficult to find the description box. You have to hit show more, and then you should be able to see the full description box with all of the links. And I do try to remember to add the shade names as well. I don't always remember, but I certainly do my best. And if somebody reminds me that I forgot, 99% of the time I will go back in and put the shade name. So what I like about this foundation is that, number one, I think the color match is really good. I have not fake tanned recently, so I'm pretty light right now. And C4 is a pretty fair shade. I think when I reviewed this foundation, at that time I had demonstrated a darker shade. This one is a much better match for my skin, I think. So this is what the foundation looks like. It offers really good medium buildable to full coverage. It has a matte finish, but I don't think it looks like a flat matte. I think for a matte foundation, it does have sort of a skin-like finish. For concealer, I am going to use the Studio Fix 24-Hour Smooth Wear Concealer. And the shade I use in this is NW24. Yes, NW24. I used to have a different shade in this as well that was a little bit peachier, and I got this yesterday. I ordered it online because I did need just a few things for this video that I was missing. And I thought, you know what? I really liked this concealer in the past. I'll order a new one. but I probably should have ordered the one I ordered in the past because this one, while it matches my skin, I do think I prefer the peachier tone of the one I used to have. I feel like the peachy tone covered a little better because it neutralized that kind of bluish tone, bluish purple tone most of us have around the eyes. So as you can see, I'm putting this over my lids as well to neutralize any discoloration on the lids and give myself a even canvas for eyeshadow. Now, I do not have anything for contour, like any sort of cream contour from MAC. So I'm going to use something that you may not have thought of for contour slash bronzer. And it's using one of their mineralized skin finishes in a darker shade. I find that these mineralized skin finishes used as bronzer give a very smooth, natural looking finish. I do own a couple MAC bronzers, but I still prefer this mineralized skin finish in dark deepest. You want to make sure if you're using a product that's this dark on skin this light, that you use a brush that isn't super dense. You don't want anything that's really densely packed that's going to deposit a lot of color onto your skin. You want one that's going to give more of a diffused airbrushed look, and this one is from It Cosmetics, and again, it will be in the description box with all of the other products. So what I do is I dip the brush into the powder, really priming the brush, but then tapping it off on the back of my hand so I don't have any excess color. And then I just sort of pat it onto my forehead, onto my cheeks, as you can see, anywhere the sun would naturally hit. And you can see how that just gives a beautiful kind of tanned look. Hopefully it looks okay under these lights. I never really know until I get to editing because I don't have my glasses on. I edit with my glasses on. I obviously don't film with my glasses on. I also like to take this on to my neck. I find it to be a little bit too golden for my nose contour. So for that, I'm going to use just something I have sitting right here, which is a contour stick from Dior. And I'm just going to use my finger to pick up a little product and slide it down the sides of my nose. If you noticed, I only put that bronzer on the perimeter of my face, and now I'm going to use a different powder to set my T-zone and my under eyes. For that, I picked up the Studio Fix Pro Set and Blur Weightless Loose Powder, and I bought it in translucent. I did have this powder already, but for some reason I bought it in the shade medium, and that will not work for the shade I am today. So it comes with a nice velvet puff. Now I'm going to take that puff, put my finger through it, press into the powder, and just set under my eyes. Ooh, that is very blurring. Huh. Like I said, I have this in the shade medium, but I hadn't used it in a while. And as you can see, I'm putting it on my lid too to set the concealer. Wow. Huh, it doesn't even make my under eyes look dry. Although I do think I just got a little bit in my eye. That's not good. Oh. Pressing the powder into my skin. Now, if you don't have oily skin, you can still use this powder, but I would apply it with a brush like this. Once again, something that's not super dense. Put the powder onto the brush, tap off any excess, or prep the brush in your hand, and then go in and set any areas you would like. But once again, if you're oily or have a tendency just to get very shiny in your T-zone, try setting with the puff. All right, before I go any further, I'm going to do my first mist of setting spray. And for that, I'm using the Fix Plus Stay Over Alcohol-Free Long-Lasting Setting Spray. And what this is going to do is help fuse everything together so it looks more natural. Okay, now it's time to zoom you in and get started on the eyes. So I just realized that I don't have anything left of this brow pencil. It's the Pro Brow Definer in Lingering, and I could probably get one eyebrow done from it, but I don't know if I'll be able to do both. So, do I take the chance and start filling in, or no? Well, I've already started, so let's see how far we can get. I'm doing a little bit on each side, as you can see, so at least if I need to change pencils halfway through, they'll be even. All right, I don't think I'm going to be able to do any more with this pencil. So I am going to finish off the brow with a MAC brow pen. I have two of these. Are they the same shade? Yes, they are both Fling. So you can see that I'm just sort of making some strokes. Actually, now I gotta get more in camera, in frame. And finish off the brow, like the arch of the brow, and then the tail of the brow with the pen. And then I just got this product. It's the Pro Locked Brow Gel. I needed a new brow gel like a hole in my head, but this is a one brand tutorial, so I try to use just one brand. Oh, that's an interesting applicator. I've not seen anything like this before. Interesting. Okay. Oh. Huh. Kind of like it. Oh, I have this one brow hair that always just grows like so much longer than the rest. Just one hair. Oh, wow. I didn't think I was gonna like this. Well, it's not that I didn't think I was gonna like it. I just didn't think that it was gonna be anything different than any other brow setting product I own. Now I'm going to take a little bit of my concealer and a synthetic brush, a flat synthetic brush, and pick up a little product and carve out right underneath the brow. This is also a great way to draw out any hairs that need to be tweezed. I have very, very light brows, and sometimes the only way I can see hairs that need to be plucked is if I do this, and if I'm in this kind of mirror that really magnifies everything. As we get older, brow hairs tend to move lower and lower onto your lid, or just hairs in general start growing in random places. And if the hairs start growing onto your lid, it can make eyeshadow blending very difficult. So for this classic MAC model-esque look, I am going to use this palette that I think I got at holiday time. I don't recall exactly. It may have been the Nordstrom anniversary sale. Well, regardless, it was limited edition, but the shades that I'm going to be using are permanent shades that you can still buy, just separately. So the first shade I'm going to use on a rougher 27 brush is called Haux, H-A-U-X. Or is it Ho, like faux? I'm not quite sure. And I am putting that all over my crease. If you have hooded eyes like me, you want to be looking directly into the mirror and blend a little bit higher. Go back and forth and then blend up higher, turn your head and bring it outward to give the eye some lift. and so that you can see the shadow when your eyes are open. If you have hooded eyes and you don't bring your shadow up a little bit higher, once you've got your mascara on and your eyes are open, you can't even see any eyeshadow. So I do recommend starting right where your crease would be and then blending up a little bit. I like to raise my brows, really get in there, back and forth, swirly motions, turn my head and blend out. So swirly, out. Okay, now I'm going to use the shade Yogurt. There is an ivory shade in this palette, but it's shimmery. And believe it or not, I don't want shimmery for this look. I say believe it or not because, as a lot of you know, I do have a tendency to pretty much always put shimmer on my lid in every video. So for this video, we are going matte, and I'm popping Yogurt right under the brow. Again, hooded eyes, don't bring this too low. You want to keep the lightness right under the arch. And then I'm going to take the same shade and pop it on the lid as well as the inner corner, covering this entire area with this matte ivory. And this brush is from the Morphe Makeup by Ariel set. All right, now I'm using a Rephr 14 brush and a dark chocolate brown. MAC has a ton of dark brown eyeshadows. You can really choose whichever one you want. And I am going to just lightly, very, very lightly, I hate to say tug, so I'm going to say stretch the eye just a little bit, raise your brows, and then pat that onto the outer corner. And once again, drawing it outward towards the temple. And now I'm just sort of flicking the brush up and out. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. And now I'm just going to go back in. I think I'm just going to use my finger and add a little bit more of the white or ivory. Just tapping it on the lid and blending it into that outer corner to diffuse it. Now I'm using a Rephr 03 brush, same shade that I just used, and running it along my lower lash lines and connecting it to the outer corners. For eyeliner, I'm using a BK Beauty 208 and an even darker brown. This shade is Give Me Cyberspace, which is not a permanent shade from MAC, but they do have one that looks very, very close called Give a Glam. You can also use a black, like Carbon from MAC, if you wanted to. So I'm taking that angled brush and I'm pressing this right at the lash line. And then I'm doing a slight wing on the outer corner. Now to give my eyes more of a lifted and snatched look, I am taking some concealer again on that same synthetic brush that I used to carve out my brows. And now I'm using it to go right underneath that wing and really bring it up and out. I know we all remember Bend and Snap from Legally Blonde. Well, this is a lift and snatch. I actually just watched Legally Blonde again the other day. I haven't watched it in the longest time, years. I am so happy that with my order, MAC sent over a mascara, and they sent over the Super Stack Mega Brush mascara. But first, I've got to curl my lashes. And then I'm actually going to tight line using the MAC Color Excess Glide or Dye Gel Pencil Eyeliner in, oh, maybe that's the shade name, Glide or Dye. I think this came in that same set that, whoa, rolled up too much, that the eyeshadow palette did. All right, let's give this mascara a try. Oh, a little clumpy. Gotta wipe off that excess. Ooh, here's what the wand looks like. Yeah, I don't like the clumps on the end, but we'll see how it does. I like the consistency. It's not a super wet mascara, but it's also not super dry. And it doesn't seem to be pulling out the curl. It's a nice mascara, I think. Do a little bit on the bottom. Now I'm going back in, hoping for less clumps this time. Yeah, it still gets a lot of clumping on the ends. Like, can you see what's on the top of this now? Don't love that. I'm gonna come back to the eyes, but let's do the rest of the face now. I wanna do a pink cheek, and I have been wanting to try this blush for a long time. It's called Rosy Cheeks, and it is the Extra Dimension blush. So this actually has some shimmer to it. But before I use that one, I am going to use an OG blush from MAC. This one is called Melba, and it's just a beautiful peachy nude, completely matte, and it goes with really any makeup look. And yes, I'm going to be mixing this one with the Rosy Cheeks, the bright pink. But if you don't like a pink cheek and you want something more neutral, then you can stop here with Melba. Look how pretty this is. And I'm using a BK Beauty 113 and just putting that pretty high up on my cheeks. Very pretty. And it does have a little bit of a sheen to it, which I like. So pretty. I'm actually going to tie it into my eyes as well. I'm putting a little bit on a brush. I'm putting a little bit through the crease. Just a tad to tie it all together. For some extra glow, because we're gonna be extra today, another iconic, super popular MAC product. This is Soft and Gentle Mineralized Skin Finish. One of the prettiest, most universal highlights there is. Look at that. So, so pretty. I'm also going to take a little bit of this and put it in my tear duct. If I can find a clean pencil brush. Here we go. Another Rephr 03. Pop that right in the tear duct and a little under the brow. For lips, I'm going to use Cool Spice first. This is the new shade. These are all my MAC lip liners. I have, I think, all of them. Some, I believe, have been discontinued, unfortunately. So, Cool Spice. Let's line. And now I'm using the shade Myth. I used to always feel like this color was way too light for me, but the new version is a little bit darker. Don't get me wrong, it's still pretty light, but it doesn't look like straight up concealer lips on me like original Myth did. Because this is a 90s look, I want to have a little bit more contrast with the lip. I know some people are going to cringe right now. Not everybody likes that look, but I do. So I'm taking Soar lip pencil and kind of gradiating it into the lipstick. And I absolutely could not do a MAC look without finishing off with the MAC lip gloss. All right, I told you I wanted to go back to the eyes, and I do, because I want to go a little bit smokier on the outer corners, so I am going to use Carbon, which I have in this discontinued palette. It's the Semi-Sweet ×9. I think you can find it on eBay, but you don't have to. You can just get Carbon on its own. And I'm dipping my brush into Carbon. You may want to take a tissue and hold it in place while you do that so you don't get any fallout. I'm going to do another spritz of the Fix Plus. And here's the look with no lashes, but I did buy some MAC lashes. I've already trimmed them. They are called Charmer. They're pretty natural looking. So yeah, I did trim them first so they'd be more like corner lashes. Putting a little bit of glue. Always kiss brush on glue. So the makeup is complete. Hair is done. Prepare yourselves for the bodysuit. I have been seeing videos all over TikTok of this brand, Populush, that makes dresses and bodysuits with built-in shapewear. The girls are girling, and I don't even have a bra on. Here's what it looks like with some black pants. Now, obviously you have to be okay with showing some skin if you choose this bodysuit. I'm okay with it. I live in Las Vegas. I have some friends coming in town in a couple of weeks. So we're going to be staying on the Strip, going out to dinner. So I think this is going to be one of my outfits. But if you are not comfortable showing off this area or your arms, Populush does have more modest options. So what do you all think? Is MAC back? Is it making a comeback? Or do you think it's a brand that will always stand the test of time, like Estee Lauder or Lancome or Clinique? Personally, I think it's a brand that will continue to stand the test of time. Once again, all products and shade names will be linked for your convenience. If you have any questions at all, please do not hesitate to leave them for me in the comments. I do try to answer as many as I can. If you are not already subscribed to my channel, I hope that you will consider doing so. I do upload new videos at least twice per week. You can also find more content from me over on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. My username is the same on every platform. It's Risa Does Makeup. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope to see you in my next video.